What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. It is time we finally talk about a state that I've kind of been saying is, kind of an irrelevant race to talk about, but we've had some interesting polling, some interesting events come out of this race that I think it is time that we actually do a little bit of a deep dive into the Ohio Senate race. Now, again, I may have done this 6-7 months ago, but 6-7 months ago, you had a lot of differences from then to now. So before we start with that, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes. So, Ohio has a Senate race, and it's a takeover for Rob Portman. If you don't know who Rob Portman is, he's a two-term Republican incumbent. He sucks on the issues, and he's done. He's not running for re-election, so thank God. I mean, he's in Ohio, and he has one of the worst voting records of a Midwestern Republican out there. Outside of, maybe Toomer, he has one of the worst possible voting records, especially in Ohio. I mean, for somebody in Ohio to have some of his stances, not very blue-collar. That's all I will say. But we do have some interesting candidates, and I'm just going to ignore a couple of these. Matt Dolan. That guy's just freaking loser. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's involved with the Cleveland Indians stuff. I'm pretty sure who that is. So essentially a loser. You got Mike Gibbons. Very unique. And we'll talk about the rest of these guys later. But essentially the only ones we really got to talk about today is Mike Gibbons, Josh Mandel, Jane Timken, and J.D. Vance. The rest of these, don't even bother with. The rest of these guys, no chance. They're pulling 2%. And yeah. So this is essentially what's happening. There's four main frontrunners. Like I said, Vance, Timken, Mandel, and Mike Gibbons. Now, all of them are unique in their own questionable ways. The first one I want to talk about is Mike Gibbons. Gibbons is a unique guy. And if he only ran on immigration, if I had to vote on somebody purely on immigration, I would probably have to say Gibbons. Gibbons probably has the best platform when it comes to immigration and those sort of issues. But here's the issue. Alright, I originally thought he was a great candidate. Then you look at what he said about abortion, about free trade. I'm like, fuck this shit. I mean, he's not a bad candidate, certain somebody. But he said some stuff about abortion where essentially he supports it, but politically, he doesn't because he would get absolutely clobbered if he did. So, yeah, he's kind of a bullshitter in some ways. And at the same time, he said some great things about globalism and free trade. It's like, how can you support some of the stuff you do with immigration, but support the globalist free trade stuff? And again, you can make an argument that trade can be free and fair. Yes, but what Gibbons wants is, just free, not fair. So Gibbons is it's probably the second best candidate of these clowns. Then you got Josh Mandel. Oh boy. Thank God you're not getting the Trump endorsement. That ship has sailed quickly after it turns out this loser, who by the way, Romney shill, but suddenly this certain Jenna Ellis, who by the way costed Trump the election contest, endorsed him, and turns out he's a drag person. You know, he wears women's clothing for fun. And that's just great. That tells you all you need to know about the state of the Republican Party. One of the frontrunners, in quotations, is a drag artist. That's all you need to know. And I know that was back in high school. Who gives a shit? I mean, it wasn't even for ironic purposes. That just looked like ew. Shoo, go away. And by the way, he said some stuff that about, how great Mitt Romney and John Kasich are. Yeah, just ignore him, please. He's a complete fake and a complete total fraud. Then you got Jane Timken. Loser, loser, loser. And it appeared she may get the Trump endorsement, but then she lied to everybody that, oh, Trump endorsed me, She didn't say that specifically, but based on her website, she's like, Trump's candidate, Trump's favorite candidate, the Trumpian favorite, all of that crap. So a complete loser who uses the popularity of Trump's name to adhere to her goals. I hate people that do that. Not even with endorsements. If Trump endorsed Timken, fine. But when you do this shit where it's like, I am the Trump favorite, Trump loves me, and vote for me. I hate those people because they're complete frauds. But then, we got the last candidate who I've in the past said some awful things about. J.D. Vance. Now, I will never forgive him for what he said about Trump in 2016. But I can move on. At this point, I am moving on from what Vance said about Trump in 2016. At this point, it's irrelevant. I won't forgive him exactly, but I'm not necessarily going to be like, use that against him. It's fine, it's whatever. People said significantly worse things, by the way. So, who is J.D. Vance? I mean, the author of Hillbilly Elegy, whatever. I can never say that word correctly. He's a former veteran and a former venture capitalist. This word always gets to people. That, oh, if they're a venture capitalist or they're a capitalist, they're automatically, a shill for corporations. Shut up. Just shut up. Just because you're a capitalist, just because, you're involved in, like, venture capitalism, that doesn't mean you're, like, a shill. It just means you're involved in it. That's it. It's not really bad. So, yeah. He is a unique candidate. He has a unique story. I do recommend you look him up. But on the issues, he's interesting. Now, I usually shit on these guys because I hate when they, like, run into, like, against communism, against socialism. But he doesn't. J.D. Vance basically never talks about socialism, communism, all that stuff. Instead, his main issues is protect conservative values. And not like, fight against socialism. No, it's like, hey, fight against critical race theory. Fight against this crap that's indoctrinating our students. Restore America's manufacturing base. Again, this is something similar like Dr. Oz, which, if it wasn't for his mysterious abortion stances, he would probably be the favorite in Pennsylvania. But with Vance, he actually consistent with his values, with his issues. I mean, this is a good platform to dismantle big tech, conserve traditional families. I mean, I love when candidates talk about the tax code because, well, you know me, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to tax stuff. Or I'm not an expert, but I do understand one thing that, the current tax code, it does a lot of this. Now, Trump did reduce the burden that taxes paid for marriages, for families, all of that with the expanded child tax credit. But the tax code currently is a scam, and what he wants to do is like, hey, let's pretty much like get rid of taxes for families. I support that. That's what they do in Hungary. He's 100% pro-life, obviously. If you're like freaking Mike Gibbons, you would get shot in the Republican Party. But also, he wants to talk about pro-child and pro-family. Yes! I mean, I'm sick and tired of these people on the right. They're pro-family, pro-child, all of that. Or just pro-life. But they're not pro-child and pro-family. They don't want to spend a dime to help families. I mean, here's the thing, though. Most abortions don't happen because of rape, incest, whatever the fuck they claim. It happens because, hey, kids are freaking expensive, and it's not defending anybody. Abortion is just murder. That's out of the way, right off the bat, it is murder. But, this is the big but. If they had no reason, if they get, like, benefits from the government, not like, you live off the government, but no, like, hey, here's a check for having a child. Use it wisely. Stuff like that. That could work. A pro-family platform is needed. And he also talks about immigration, not just illegal immigration, but legal. It's a great platform. His issue really stems from what he said in 2018, or 2016, excuse my French. You get the point, though. Now, the question is this. Who is really the frontrunner of these four? And I don't know why he's here, but between Vance, Timken, Mandel, and Gibbons. Well, for a while it appeared Mandel was a frontrunner, but it appears like Gibbons has surged. Mostly because frickin' Mandel has just imploded as of late. Vance is, starting to pick up steam a little bit. Very subtly, he's picking up steam, and it does appear Trump will endorse Vance. He said some things about Vance, and I heard things behind the scenes. Trump likes Vance. So that's what it appears. But I also like to look at this poll. Trafalgar, one of the best pollsters in America. To show you Mike Gibbons' surge, in, I think this is like June of 2020 or something like that. Gibbons was around 12%. Today, he's at around 16.5%. Mandel is starting to fall a little bit. Vance, yeah, he fell a little bit, but still, it's an interesting race what's happening. Now, again, I'm not saying that, Gibbons will win it, or Vance will win it, or Mandel will win it, or anybody will win it. But it just shows you that this race is starting to look bad and worse for Timken and Mandel. But at the same time, it appears that Vance and Gibbons are either surging or starting to stagnate or grow a little bit. But if Trump endorses Vance, he's going to win. There's 25% undecided. It appears a big chunk of these are, the working class types that don't know exactly who to trust. And if they hear Trump endorses Vance, I guarantee you most of these people will flood the Vance. Now, there's one more thing we must talk about. The Democrat Party. The Democrat primary, I should say. Guys, this is the biggest waste of money I've ever seen. Tim Ryan is not winning. I don't care how many freaking endorsements he gets. Give me a break. He's not going to win. I don't care if the PPP shows a race within 5 points. Want to see something? Want to see something I've been working on, behind the scenes a little bit? It's kind of the first, teaser of it. I'm working on something similar to this. Now, again, before I continue, this is a very, very early draft of the trend map, of the interactive map, all of that. This is kind of what the map will look like. Essentially, kind of like New York Times, but for free, and kind of similar to Dave's Atlas maps, but for free. Most of it will be free, interactive, and all of that. Red is counties that trended in 2020. Look at the entirety of the state. The only counties that trended significantly Democrat are pretty much Delaware, Franklin, and Hamilton. Place like Clement, Warren, sure, maybe, trended a little bit to the left. But places like Butler, Clement, Greene, counties that did trend to the left, barely did. You look at the rest of the state. Look at Cuyahoga, where Cleveland is. Trended around 3.5 points Republican. Lorraine, almost 5 points. Lake, about a half point. Then you go over here. This is where Tim Ryan is trying to win. This is the part of the state, if Tim Ryan can magically get, 2012 Obama levels, he could win. But here's the issue. Every single one of these counties are trending by at least 5 to 6 points Republican. This is a working part of the state that has always been Democrat until 2016 and 2020. So, Tim Ryan's not going to win. The Republicans are going to win either way. But this is kind of like a nice feature I'm working on. Again, sorry to shill for the website, for the new maps and stuff, but this is kind of what the plan is. This is what the teaser I've been talking about interactive maps for a while now. This is the plan, and it's gonna be cool when it's done. Again, we are 3 to 4 months before it's fully done, but this is kind of what it will look like. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.